Life isn't something we have to do. It's not something we have to get through. It's something that we get to do. We get to do this life thing. It's amazing. There's no limits. It's a blank piece of paper. You can do whatever you want with it. Keep a sense of humor, particularly about oneself. Know that everything that you've learned about limitation is false. There's no limits. The only limits are in your mind. In fact, everything's in your mind. This is all a movie that you are creating from your little movie projector here. And you can create whatever you want. And the reason why you think you can't is because you haven't. And because other people told you since you were little all the things that you couldn't do. And they told you who you were and what you were like and what you're supposed to be like and what you're supposed to do and how the world works and a bunch of other bullshit that's not true. It's not true. I don't care if you're born poor or rich or fat or skinny or blonde or brunette or man or woman. Granted, you may have certain limitations and certain things that you'll have to overcome depending on what kind of vessel you get in this incarnation. But all of us have access. We all have the same blank piece of paper when we start. And if you mess up, if you mess up your painting, you can just scribble it out and go back to square one anytime. And as long as you stay in a space of gratitude, realizing how amazing this is, that every movement is a masterpiece. Every sunrise is a symphony. It's incredible. Every piece of it, the highs and the lows, all of it, it's a symphony. What kind of symphony do you want to make? What kind of song do you want to write? What kind of musician do you want to be? Or maybe you're a dancer. Or whatever metaphor you want to use. Oh, my ear just popped. You can say you have limitations. You might have real, physical limitations. Again, we all have different challenges and different things that we believe are holding us back, but there's nothing holding you back but you, your mind. Everything is up here. Don't believe that anything that anybody else tells you about who you are or what you're supposed to be. You can be whatever you want, anytime you want. And the easiest way really is by trying to find that space where you're no one and you're nothing and you're nowhere. Be it through meditation, sitting meditation, walking, being out in nature, yoga, whatever it is that brings you to that space beyond space where you don't associate with a you anymore. There is no I in that space, and from that's the space of creation. If you can figure out how to get there, it's just pure bliss. And the more that you can go there, I think the more that you can carry that into the other times. And you start to realize that life is bliss. It can be bliss. And I'm pretty done justifying to anybody. If you don't want to believe that 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 can exist, then that's fine. I didn't believe it for a really long time either, so we all figure out things in our own time, but I'm not going to waste my time anymore justifying to anybody why I'm doing anything. Why? It's just people who are just trying to keep you from being in bliss because they're not, so they're jealous or whatever it may be. There's doves under this bridge. Life is pretty amazing. I'm gonna sing a song. Just be somebody. Alright, I gotta paddle the other way. It's getting dark, it's getting late. The world would have us think that we should be scared of everything, that we should be scared of this pole that we're about to hit. But really, there isn't much to fear. And, you know, again, people can argue all day long. Well, there is all kinds of things to fear, and the world's a scary place, and you can't be happy all the time, and you gotta work, and you gotta get a job, and you gotta suffer, and you gotta... That's what I have to say about that. So if you all want to suffer and toil away, and you want life to be hard and shit forever, because that's what it's always been, because that's what it was for your parents and their parents and their parents and their parents, and when does it end? When does somebody decide in their mind? You have to decide in your mind first, in your mind and in your heart, that you want things to be different, that you want to have a different kind of life, and you want to be happy and not struggle, and it doesn't have to be struggle, and you don't have to judge people, and you don't have to judge yourself, you don't have to be mean to yourself, none of that, and you don't have to judge everything. Just stop fucking judging everything and everyone. Seriously, I don't care if you're living in a friggin' gutter and you weigh 5,000 pounds and I don't care. Just stop judging everything. Find something to be grateful for. It's doves. Maybe they're pigeons. They're doves to me. Find something to be grateful for. Something. Anything. Well, what I'm doing right now is free. Well, I have a boat. But borrow a boat from somebody. Make one. There's things you can make and things you can do, no matter what your circumstances are, to find something to be grateful for. And I'm looking, and this video's been going on for 9 minutes now. I've been talking. But, you know... And you know what? Maybe you're not going to be like happy all the time. It's not about being happy. It's just about embracing the highs and the lows. Everything in the universe has light and dark within it. Light and dark and white and black and God and devil and heaven and hell. And the tide goes in and the tide goes out and the moon waxes and the moon wanes and something dies and something else is reborn and on and on and on it goes. And every single thing in the universe, including you, follows that rule of nature. It just is. So when you just accept that it just is, you can not only embrace the highs and lows as they come, but you can start to kind of control it. Because when you really, really appreciate the highs, whatever you want to call it, the light, you don't necessarily, and you realize I mean, a big part of the reason why there is contrast, why there is darkness, is so that we see the light. Sometimes we need the darkness in order to appreciate the good things. But I think that if we learn to just appreciate the good things, maybe for me it was like, maybe for a lot of people who experience great hardships, it's like you reach a point where you've just had so much hardship that you have no other choice but just to like let it go. Like you sort of give it over to God, as they say. And at that point you just find gratitude. You find this clarity and this gratitude for everything. And I think once you can find that gratitude all the time, maybe not all the time, but as much as you possibly can, and just like praise God, man, or whatever you want to call it. Just be grateful for this amazing experience that we all have. And if you can find that, I think the lows slow down. They definitely have for me. They've slowed down a lot. There's been an awful lot of bliss in the last few years. A lot more than there ever was before. And I think the reason why is gratitude. Is having found gratitude. And so it's like, I don't have to be reminded constantly. I don't have to be shown the dark all the time in order to appreciate the light. I just appreciate the light. I remember what darkness is like. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I can. It's not. But if I do, I try not to allow myself to feel that darkness again. And I'm certainly not going to dwell there. And that's the problem. Most people dwell there. Our brains are equipped to remember negative experiences more than positive as a defense mechanism to keep us safe and away from danger. But there's no lions out on the prairie anymore. So our brains just create shit. And then we continue to go down those same old negative pathways because it's like a forest in our brains and with pathways that have been trodden down a lot. And to take the road less traveled, sometimes you got to take a machete. You got to take a machete in there and cut a new path. And then you got to keep walking on it. It might be really, really uncomfortable. The unknown is uncomfortable. Most people will stay in bad situations most of their lives because they would rather know what's going to happen tomorrow than have to possibly deal with the unknown. The unknown is scary. You know what, though? It's not. It's not. Everything good in your life started with a day or two or 10 or 10,000 of unknown. Everything that you're good at now was an unknown at one point. Everything that you're good at, you didn't know how to do once upon a time. And, well, unless it's a natural born gift, but even so, you've had to hone it. And those periods are uncomfortable. Learning new thing, not knowing something, not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. Not knowing something can be really uncomfortable. But if you can get past that, if you can force your brain into doing new and novel things and get past that uncomfortability, that's where the key lies. So, and you can start by doing even just small things. Just changing up the way you drive home. Forcing yourself to look at new things, to see new things, to experience new things in a different way. So that your brain kind of learns that, like, it's okay. The unknown isn't necessarily scary. And the more and more you do the unknown things, the more you tackle those fears, the more you realize that the universe is limitless and you can do whatever you want. And again, I'm coming back around. The sky's not the limit. Your belief system is the limit. I've heard that once before, but it's so true. So, look at this. Look at this. Look at this universe where we're at. Look at this thing that whatever created. It's the greatest artist in the world. The most beautiful painting ever. I'm gonna turn around so you can see the moon. Then I'm gonna paddle backwards and I'm gonna shut the camera off so I can paddle better. Look at, hold on. Oh, look at that moon. Boom. Look at that. Who made that shit? I don't know, but it's a pretty cool mother effing piece of artwork. And I dig it. You know what else is a cool mother effing piece of artwork? This me thing, and same thing for you, whoever you are, whatever you look at when you look in the mirror. It's a cool piece of artwork, man. It's made by something amazing, and no matter what kind of skin you're in, it's amazing. You're amazing. You're a beautiful creature. You're a piece of artwork. Appreciate this physical vessel thing that you're in. And what a magical time for us all to be here. I believe that we're in the middle of a paradigm shift. We're shifting from cocoon to butterfly. And we're all at different stages in the path. Some of us haven't even realized that we're in a friggin' cocoon yet. And others are already flying. I'm somewhere in between, I think. I think my wings are out. But I think I'm still shaking off a little bit of the cocoon, and maybe we all will be for a while until the shift fully shifts. But I think we're in an amazing time. And if you don't do anything else today, stop and appreciate where you are, wherever you are, and appreciate you. Just look in the mirror and say, hey man, you're awesome. And I love you. It's true. You should. You're an amazing miracle of a being. And so am I, and so are we all, because we're all mirrors of each other. We're all just small parts of one big giant thing. And with that, I'm gonna shut the camera off because it's getting really dark and I have to paddle my boat in. So have an amazing, beautiful, beautiful evening and week and life, and peace and blessings. I love everything. Goodbye.